want to talk about the three types of currency. By that, I mean, there are three different ways for which to value a currency. Now, most of you only grew up in this one particular way we're going to start with, which is an inflationary currency. Later on, we'll talk about a fixed supply and a deflationary currency, and it will become abundantly clear which one you need and want if you want to create, store, or preserve wealth, right? An inflationary currency is one that is backed by nothing. The Federal Reserve in the United States, the world's reserve currency, is literally backed by nothing. Most people think it's backed by something, but it's truthfully, factually, verifiably, absolutely not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold. It was then partially backed by oil for a while, and now it's backed by nothing. Decree. That's why it's called fiat currency. It's a currency by government decree. And we know that this is a really bad place to be. Let me give you a few examples to help you understand as concise as possible. We'll pop some stuff up on the screen as I'm talking for you to see. Did you know that consumer prices in Venezuela in between 2017 and 18 grew by an astounding 65,000%? By 2020, it was down to 2,300%, and by 2023, it was down by 400%, right? In fact, hyperinflation has gotten so bad in so many countries that at one point in Hungary, for example, the prices literally doubled every 15 hours. Could you imagine that the price of everything that you're buying doubles in every 15 hours? Do you really think that your salary is going to increase by that amount? Absolutely insane. The same thing happened in Zimbabwe. In fact, they got to $1 trillion bills in Zimbabwe at one point in time, right? So your employer, your businesses, your investments, wherever they are placed, no matter how great you think you are as an investor, could never possibly keep up with that level of inflation. There are videos from the Weimar Republic in Germany where people used to carry literally full wheelbarrow of cash to go and buy things like a loaf of bread, right? And so where is this happening? Why does this happen? Where does inflation come from? Famous economists have said it very, very clearly that inflation is everywhere and always and only a monetary phenomenon. What does that mean? It means that it is absolutely always caused by the government running the printing press. AKA, the criminals of this world built themselves a printing press that gave them the ability to print money at will. And every single time they run the printing press, there is a delay. But once that delay catches up, it means that it makes every single dollar you have saved worth less money. If your grandparents died and worked very hard to save $10,000 and had it under the mattress waiting for you, right? But eventually they leave, and within a couple of years of them leaving this planet, a loaf of bread costs $10,000. They didn't preserve any real value for you, AKA purchasing power. You've lost that purchasing power. So the last place you ever want to attempt to keep, store, preserve, or create wealth is to do so being held in or being indexed in or priced in or measuring the returns in a currency that is hyperinflationary, right? It starts out as inflation and then it gets hyperinflationary. Here's another quick example for you. As of March 2021, COVID costs $5.2 trillion. But when all the COVID area nonsense was done, it totaled $13 trillion, which is more than the 13 most expensive wars the US has ever embarked on combined. That means all of World War II, right, in real today's dollars, in inflation adjusted dollars, was a fraction of what they spent in the COVID era, right? So, my friends, they are running the printing press all the time. They are in extreme debt, extreme deficits. The debts and deficits exceed the amount of money in circulation. Pause and think about that for a second. It shows you how much of a scam and a ridiculous game it is, where the central banksters have rigged the game So you can never win. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully you got the picture here. You do not want to store any of your wealth in something that is hyperinflationary, that is not backed by anything, that is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. And right now, my friends, we are in the controlled demolition phase of this monetary fiat system. So let's talk about the other two now, so you can get a better feel for what I'm describing to you as other options in places where you absolutely need to start thinking about and placing your money in if you want to preserve, create, or generate any form of wealth.